site supervisor. Today I am with Trishan, and she is the Pocomoke 50 Plus site coordinator. Today we're going to be working on a project. This was advertised in our newsletter. It's the box with the heart and the string work on it. And I'm just going to very quickly review what items you'll need, which this is a box that I found at the Dollar Tree. A lot of my projects come from items that you find at the Dollar Tree. I think it's great because it's cost effective. So I found these plain boxes. You'll need your hammer, just a little lightweight hammer. This might be a little bit heavy duty, but it's okay. You'll also need your smooth shank wire brads. It was number 17 times 1 inch. And I got these at Home Depot as well. And then also your paints. Just get a variety of paints. This is Valentine's Day, so I did some pinks and reds. I like to, as you know, play with paints and mix different colors. You also need a piece of paper that we're going to fold in half, and we're going to make our heart shape with this paper so that we have a pattern to put when we put our nails into our boxes. Paint brushes, and also you'll need some sort of string, whether it's the hemp twine that I did this project with, or I also picked up cross stitch string. Any real fine string will work. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get set up and get started. You want to talk? Okay, so we're just going to take our piece of paper, fold it in half. Okay. And then we're just going to draw half a heart on the paper. Okay? But remember that we only have this amount of room. Depending on your size, you could probably have a bigger board. But you want to make sure that your heart is not, overpowers this, because you have to get your nails in. So make sure you measure your the front of your surface. And that's easy enough. You can just lay your piece of paper on it. Okay, so that was the size that I went with. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out real quick. And a reminder that Trishan and I are sitting arm's length away from each other. So that is why we are not masked up right now. And you can, if your heart seems to be a little bit big or not the right size that you want for your the front of your board, then you can cut it down. And once you get your shape cut out, put it on the front. So this is the size that I'm going with. Now, before we start with putting our heart on, let's go ahead and paint our boxes. If you choose to. If not, you can stain it, or you can leave it just a plain color. Trishan, and I saw this too, is working with something different rather than the wooden boxes. She's going to be working with a styrofoam piece, which you can also paint. And it can give you a different effect as well. So we're going to see how Trishan does with this, with her creativity. So we're going to go ahead and paint our boxes and our styrofoam, give them a little bit of time to dry, and then we'll be back and we'll be show you how to do your heart shape on your box. Okay, so we have painted our boxes, and Trishan's got such a pretty pattern going with her colors. on her styrofoam. So there's two different ways that you can do your heart. You can set your heart on your box and you can trace it. Now Trishan's styrofoam, it's taken a little bit longer to dry. So she's going to go ahead and start by tracing her heart in the styrofoam with the brad nails. Okay? So she'll start by putting one in the center and nailing it. I'm going to trace mine. Are you? Do you? Can you actually push those in without using your hammer, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the good thing about using the styrofoam too is that you don't necessarily have to use a hammer. You can push them in. Now with the wooden box, you do need your hammer. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start. When you put your brads in, bring anything on the table. There we go. Okay. So we're just going to just randomly put them in following tracing your pattern. You can readjust them after you get them in. Now we have our brads all in, and we're going to get our string out. Now it's up to you how you want to do this. You can pull the string apart a little bit, or your cross stitch string apart and make a thinner floss. That's what we'll call it. Or you can leave it thick. It's totally up to you. Okay, so we have our threading ready. I don't know if you can see it. And we're going to start threading our nails. And you can, if you want, because this is cross stitch threading, we're not separating it because it would just knot up at the end. But if you want really thin, you can use thin threading. You can use just regular sewing thread, and that will. But you're going to have to do it quite a few times, crisscrossing over the nails. And so let's go ahead and start. We're just going to try and tie a little knot. We'll start with the bottom nail, and whatever's extra you can just trim off. But we're going to tie a knot around the nail. Okay, and then you can use your scissors if you like and trim it. I'm going to wait till the end. And after you get it on the nail, you're going to start from opposite, and you're just going to twist around once. Twist around the nail once, and wherever you go, just make sure it's opposite from the nail that you just left. That makes sense. piece, which I don't suggest that you do because it was hard because you have to tie another knot to end it. And so anyway, so there we go. We're all finished. And Trishan, what she said? Isn't Trishan's cool? It's different, very different. Trishan said that about putting the brads in, it was so much easier.
Yeah.
And also she did say that you had to be a little more careful though, because they tend to move because they're not in a really, really super hard surface like the wood. But she seemed to do a good job with that, and so there we have it, her project. What do you think?
It was fun, pretty easy, especially with the styrofoam. So if you don't really want to bang it into the wood, I would suggest styrofoam.
Oh, another thing, tracing it with the wood, you can, after you get your string, your nails in, you do have the trace line. I prefer not to have that. So I would probably recommend doing it the way that Tristan did, when you just put your pattern on, and you go ahead and put your first nail in at one point, and then also maybe one at the bottom to hold it into place, and then build your nails around your pattern, and then when you're done, you take your pattern away. And that's how Trishan did it, and she has no tracing lines. I did it tracing it, and I have the lines, which I'm not really happy about. It may not bother some people, unless maybe if you did it in, red or pink. I did it with pencil, so yeah, it's up to you, but, once you get started, we're just giving you some tips, and I think that we're all set. And thanks for joining us, and everybody be safe. Remember that one day a week, each center has a date where there is bodies in the center, that if you want to call, you can call and get a live person to speak to. Look at our newsletters, and the center open days for employees only will be in our newsletters. Right? Anything else? All right, see you. Take care. Thanks.